coming up next. It's Wednesday, July 17th.
Activate your voice. Activa tu voz. Activate it now.
Speak up. Speak out.
Get involved. Get involved.
Engage-toi.
Take action.
Aktiviere deine Stimme.
We're union and we're proud.
Welcome to Activate Live. I'm Tanya Hutchins with the Machinists Union, also known as the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, or the IAMAW. We have some guests on the show today who will update us on General Electric negotiations. But first, a few news items. A vote is scheduled in the U.S. House of Representatives today on H.R. 748. It's a bill to repeal the so-called Cadillac tax, which is a 40% tax on high-end health insurance plans sponsored by employers. More than 180 million Americans depend on this type of coverage. International President Bob Martinez wrote a letter to representatives urging them to vote yes on the repeal. We'll keep you updated. Well, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit overturned on jurisdictional grounds a lower court ruling blocking the implementation of 3 controversial workforce executive orders taking aim at federal employee unions. Now, I personally spoke with IAM Government Employees Director Jim Price, and he tells me appeals are on the way. The IAM is still fighting and pursuing legislative remedies to block and reverse the executive orders. Well, IAM Local 2018 is still on strike at Regal Beloit Manufacturing in Valparaiso, Indiana. We'd like to thank all the members throughout the United States and Canada for your support, as more than 130 members strike for affordable health care, better wages, clear break times, and no changes to their current probationary period. Well, this week, Americans are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Neil Armstrong and IAM lifetime member Buzz Aldrin's landing on the moon and taking those first historic steps July 20th, 1969. Now, the actual anniversary is this Saturday at 4:17 p.m. Eastern Time. Armstrong planted the first human foot on the moon at 10:56 p.m. Special NASA events and exhibits are taking place across the country. We are so proud of our lifetime IAM member, Buzz Aldrin. Well, the Coalition of Labor Union Women is supporting a domestic workers' Bill of Rights, which would establish and enforce rights for 2.5 million domestic workers in the United States. Those include home care workers, nannies, and house cleaners. For the past 2 days, domestic workers have been in the nation's capital asking Congress to pass the bill. Check out the hashtags Domestic Workers Bill of Rights and Dignity for All Workers on Twitter. To learn more, the website is domesticworkers.org. Well, the IAM has been part of a union-coordinated bargaining committee that has negotiated with General Electric. Our union has a hardworking team of leaders at the negotiation table, and we want you to hear from them directly about the latest negotiations because they are closest to our members on the shop floor. We begin with IAM Local 912 President Mark Goodhart. Welcome, Mark.
Hi, Tanya. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time. Well, Matt, what division do our members work in at General Electric in Evadale, Ohio?
We're actually in the aviation division. We have a pretty big role in the assembly of the CFM 56, CF6, LMS 2500, and the LMS 6000. We also have quite a few different test cells where we're able to test a lot of different engines on site. And there's a lot of research and development work that we support in the different labs and things like that here in Evendale.
Okay, Mark, I'm sorry I called you Matt a minute ago. I apologize for that. What are some of the jobs that they actually perform?
Our members, our site's actually about 450 acres, and we've got about just around 7 million square feet under roof. We have a very different amount of trades here in Evendale. We've got a lot of people from the building trades as far as electricians, plumbers, carpenters, pipe fitters. We pretty much maintain the whole facility inside and out. We also have even garage mechanics who maintain all the motor vehicles and the powered vehicles and lift equipment. We have machinists and tool makers play a big role in development. And we actually even have our own on-site firehouse where we have IAM represented fire inspectors as well.
But we're so proud of that workers, IAM workers all throughout the plant. When it comes to contract negotiations, what are you hearing from our members on the shop floor?
You know, if I really had to sum it up, it's kind of hard to sum it up in one or two words, but I'd say people are just really frustrated. We've got a membership who really feels and believes that over the last several contracts, all the unions have really tried to work with GE. We've made some very, very big sacrifices over the last 12 years. And everybody really believes it's enough. It's our time to get some of the things we've earned. It just gets disheartening. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because in the past, you know, we had a poor economy and there were stagnant workloads. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. And I mean, you look back at the 2015 contract, 2015 to 19 contract. GE puts out a little newsletter they call Focus that kind of sums up the whole contract, tries to spell everything out. And even in that contract in 2015, they stated that we put them in a great place to be globally competitive now and into the future. And unfortunately, since 2015, all we've done is seen our numbers somewhat decrease here locally and across the U.S.
And even though the numbers are decreasing, what's happening to the workload?
It seems they seem to be doing all right. I think everybody sees in the news the kind of contracts that they've been getting and the work, and work has definitely picked up. It's hard because even when you talked about the economy and things like that, how much stronger the economy is right now, the job market's doing great, increased workload, and unfortunately this contract doesn't represent those things, in my opinion.
What about when it comes to the standard, like dental and vision plans?
Really, with the healthcare as a whole, between 2015 and 2019, that contract, when you take our one general wage increase and a couple of the COLAs that we had, if you split that out over the 4 years, it actually came to a little bit less than a 1% raise over those years. And our healthcare premiums actually increased by just under 50%. And I think that shows where we really, really tried to work with them in the past to make them competitive. But now when you look at this contract, when the market's better, the economy's better, I mean, everything's just better. When you split up our general wage increases, and we did not receive any COLAs, so if you kind of split up the general wage increases over the 4 years of the contract that got voted down, we'd be getting right around that 1% raise again a year. But some of our members would be looking at 38% increases in their premiums again, and that doesn't even include the higher deductible that was proposed. And we also had a dental and vision plan, a standard plan, and they pretty much gutted that, and it's pretty much just forcing our members to pay even more money every week out of their pocket to be able to get the premium plan to actually have somewhat of a coverage, because the standard plans, they just completely gutted.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the cost of living is going up, didn't have much of allowance of that. Healthcare costs are going up, and with barely a 1% increase, it would almost feel like a pay cut.
I mean, when you look at inflation, you look at the increases in our healthcare, you look at no cost of living raises. I mean, we're just really trying to keep our head above water. And in these times right now, it's a hard thing to do. We've got a lot of members that came from some of the outside trades and still friends with those people in those unions and talk to them. These outside trades, especially in the Cincinnati area, they're getting some of the best contracts they've gotten in over 20 years. I feel like we're really just now getting to that point where we're starting to see the lack of skilled trades in the area. We've had some building trades locally that we're having retirees come back and letting them go back out to work and still bringing in their pension because they're just that desperate for manpower right now.
Wow. So hopefully some young people listening to this can really have some hope in terms of apprenticeships and learning those skills. But, you know, it's hard to fill those jobs right now from what you're saying. What about overtime rules and the proposed overtime rules?
The proposed overtime rules are definitely a huge topic on the floor. They're wanting to come in and change some of these overtime rules that, I mean, they've been there for 50 plus years. You know, our members make a lot of big sacrifices away from their family, away from their home. You know, it gets tough on your health wise being in here a lot when they need you, but they make these sacrifices to make GE as successful as they are. And we really feel like they're compensated reasonably under the overtime rules as they stand today. And it's just one more shot at the money that people are going to be able to bring home to their families. At the end of the day, that's why we're all here, support our families, try to make a good living, and they're just making it very tough.
How many hours are we talking about? Because you all put in a lot of time where you're away from your families.
Absolutely. I mean, it depends on what area you're in. It depends on what's going on. But it's people put in almost 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and that's not very uncommon around here when things are ramping up and things are busy in certain areas.
Anything else you'd like to mention?
No, just thank you for having me. I think one of the hardest parts of this whole thing for me is that I just don't feel like we're asking for the moon and the stars. We're at a very critical time, I feel. We're asking for a fair contract to help offset some of the gains or some of the sacrifices that we have made over the last 12 years. And I feel like it's our time. I feel like our membership has earned it. They're not asking for anything crazy. They just want a fair contract.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mark Goodhart. Thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
So what do you think about the art of negotiation? You can join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. What's the hardest part of negotiating if you've been on a negotiating committee? Comment now to activate your voice using live chat on YouTube, comments on Facebook, or by replying to this video on Twitter. You can even comment during the replay. Well, our next guest is IAM Local 78 Shop Chairman Brian Yokofich. He is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Thanks for joining us, Brian. Brian, are you there?
I am.
There he is. Glad to hear you. Tell us tell us a little bit about what our members in your local do. What jobs do they perform?
So I represent the skilled trades at GE Healthcare in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have a number of state indentured journeymen that they do a number of certified and essential tasks for the healthcare industry. We have tool and die makers, machine repair, vacuum system specialists, precision welders, precision machinists, all rolled into two classifications. So a lot of skill rolled into a small amount of people.
And when you talk to the members on the shop floor to update them on negotiations, what are you hearing from our members?
Our members, I think, I'm going to echo a lot of what Mark had to say, but I think they're upset about the concessionary type of contract that we might take, especially when it comes in terms of cost of living adjustment, not including that in the contract. No general wage increases for the most part, not enough to offset the escalating healthcare costs, especially the healthcare costs that have rose the last two contracts for sure. They've rose dramatically.
Now, you have also talked about the need for people in the skilled trades and that you've been trying to hire there. What has that been like? How hard is it?
Yeah, we've been in the Milwaukee area here. We've been trying to hire for 2 years. Like Mark had said, the skills are leaving. It's skilled workers are getting older. The workers we have hired are near the end of their careers. We're having a hard time finding anybody, and I would say in the last year we have nobody. Right now, we're looking for 2 people. We can't find anybody in certain skilled trades. So it's in the Milwaukee area. We've noticed, much like Mark, that you have to have not only good wages but good benefits to balance that out. And people aren't willing to leave a job with good benefits just for a high wage or for a good wage. That's part of the problem. GE seems to be trying to chip away at their benefits package, contract after contract.
Now, if there are young people that are watching this and they're wondering what type of jobs you're talking about where there are openings, and what are some of the things they can study, can you give us an example of some of those particular jobs that are needed?
Absolutely. I would say any apprenticeable trade, plumbers, electricians, machine repair, maintenance mechanics, tool and die makers, all of those trades take a special skill, schooling and training, and you're pretty much guaranteed a job for life with any of those skills.
Well, let's hope more young people go into the trades. That's one of the things that I love to do, is talk about the trades when I go into high schools. So we're trying to push it as much as we can at career fairs.
Absolutely.
Getting back to GE, tell us a little bit about what you hope to see. What is your best case scenario?
Oh, best case scenario. I would love to see the inclusion of the cost of living adjustment formula reinstated into the contract. And if possible, the healthcare costs to go down. Much like Mark said, some of our members will have a 38% increase in their healthcare costs, which is nearly unacceptable in my opinion. I would like to see those 2 things corrected. The general wage increase would be a great thing to offset, though. If we can't get healthcare costs reduced, get the general wage increase to at least offset that cost.
What does that do to a worker and members that you know when you don't have a cost of living adjustment, when you don't have a general wage increase that's acceptable, but yet inflation goes up?
Sure. I mean, we work a lot more hours. We work a lot of overtime. We sacrifice a lot for this company. We work on average here about 70 hours a week. When you do that, you take time away from your family, and nobody wants to see that. We want to hire people. We want people to have a good family and work-life balance.
Well, Brian, is there anything else you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I would love to see General Electric be back on top where they were 20 years ago. I think they can do that through working with the IAM and other unions and creating a good, equitable contract.
Brian, before you go, we have a comment from Eddie Nunez. He says, hello for IUE CWA Local 201 in Lynn, Massachusetts. Stay strong, union brothers and sisters. Together we are strong. So you're getting support.
Couldn't agree more.
You also have, it's Kevin Vest, says union yes, retired steelworker, stay strong, brothers and sisters. How does that make you feel to know you're even Rosie Machinist, 751, telling you to stay strong, solidarity?
I love that. When we were out in Cincinnati negotiating, it was a very good brotherhood of mixed unions, not just the IAM. We had IBEW, we had UAW. It was great to see the camaraderie that we developed while we were out there. It's a great feeling.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. We wish you the best of luck in negotiations and keep in touch.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. You too can join the conversation. You can join us if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Just send your comments in, even if we're not live and it's during the replay. Just let us know what you think. Okay, so our next interview is in Warrensville, Ohio, where we're going to speak by audio with IAM Local 439 Chief Steward Larry Butler. Larry, can you hear me? Oh, we might have lost Larry. Larry is with Local 439, and he's been talking to members there about GE. And we were trying to give you a taste of each local and some of our members in different areas. So the workers in Warrensville, Ohio are also very concerned and would like to see a good, fair contract. I'm going to check one more time to see if Larry has reconnected. No, he hasn't, but we appreciate Larry Butler trying to connect to us, and we're hoping that Larry will comment on the show when he gets a chance to let us know what he's hearing from our members there at Local 439. We will keep you up to date on all of our social media pages, on Facebook, Twitter, and here on YouTube as negotiations continue, so we can let you know where negotiations stand and what happens next. So join the conversation on this social media page, comment on this video to let us know how you feel about negotiations. And also let us know if you have taken the IAM's negotiation prep course. It has now gone on the road. If you did take the course, did it make you feel more prepared? We're hearing good things about that course, especially since it's on the road and it's produced by our William W. Wimpesinger Education and Technology Center. Well, every week we like to give you an organizing tip, and our organizing tip this week is help us help people. Do you know of a group of individuals who could use a union? Let us know via our website, which is goiam.org. That's goiam.org. You can also contact us via email at organize@iamaw.org. Here's a look back at this week in labor history with the help of Unionist.com. On July 17, 1944, 2 ammunition ships exploded at Port Chicago, California, killing 322 people. Now, 202 of them were black workers assigned by the Navy to handle explosives. It was the worst home front disaster of World War II. The resulting refusal of 258 black workers to return to the dangerous work fortified the trial and conviction of 50 of the men in what is called the Port Chicago Mutiny. On July 18, 1969, hospital workers won a 113-day union recognition strike in Charleston, South Carolina. Yes, I said Charleston, South Carolina, in the South, where our union was founded. And on July 19, 1848, the Women's Rights Convention opened in Seneca Falls, New York. Delegates adopted a Declaration of Women's Rights and a call for women's suffrage. Little did they know it would take 71 more years to win the right to vote, but their hard work paid off, and we appreciate all of that hard work. Well, one of the benefits of your Machinists Union membership is the Wimpesinger Education and Technology Center in Hollywood, Maryland. Here are some deadlines to keep in mind if you're thinking about taking classes there. It is time to register for the following classes. Financial Officers Program, that registration is due July 22nd. July 26, IAM Young Worker Strategy Program. Typically, we're encouraging participants age 40 and under to attend the class. However, we recognize that in today's workforce, many new union members are over 40. So we use the guideline that if a worker is under 40 or new to the union, we would love to have them attend. And additionally, some locals and districts send workers that will be working to assist in building a Young Workers Committee, and they may be over 40. So we have no problem with participants attending that will be working with young workers. July 29th is the deadline for the Retiree Strategy Program, and August 2nd, the Community Services Program deadline. So get those applications in. More information is at the website, wimpesinger.iamaw.org. Here's a list of our upcoming state council meetings. As you can see from our list here, July 25th to the 27th, the Texas AFL-CIO 60th Convention takes place in San Antonio. August 5th to the 6th, the New Jersey State Council of Machinists meets in Atlantic City. And in September, the 27th and 28th, the Maritime Council of Machinists Biennial Conference takes place in Moncton, New Brunswick. Well, if you like golf, you'll love our upcoming golf tournament August 5th. It is going to take place August 5th. It's the International President's Capital Classic. For more information, go to our website, goiam.org. So mark your calendars for that. Also, our upcoming conferences include the A. Philip Randolph Institute's National Education Conference in Bloomington, Minnesota. The IAM is sending a delegation of members, and that will take place August 7th to the 11th. It's the 50th anniversary of the AFL-CIO's oldest constituency group. The Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance, also known as APALA, holds its 15th biennial convention August 8th to 11th in Las Vegas, Nevada. The theme is Rights Under Attack, Rising Up, Fighting Back. And you can check the website for more information. It's apalanet.org. That's apalanet.org. And the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement, or LACLA, has its national conference in Philadelphia, August 15th to the 17th. The event will be a power-building gathering that will bring together Latino, labor, and community leaders from across the country to strategize about challenges and opportunities for Latino workers. Well, support your siblings. Share this video to your local or district page, and thanks to all of you who already do. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, same time, same place, on this same social media network.